Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we will be learning one more topic, which is an advanced topic of the ones that we have already covered. Till now, we have covered a lot of things. We have covered about the input, we have covered about the variables, the data types, the conditional statements, different types of operators, and for loop. So this will be a continuation of it. So we will be covering today related to the nested for loops. So if you are trying to write any programming language, this particular concept will be very important to learn, because in projects, you don't need to have only one single loop. You may have nested loops in order to achieve a result, right? If you do like the playlist and the video, do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends so that this particular video gets outreached as much as audience as it can, so that everyone can learn Python. So let's get started with today's topic, that is the nested for loops.
So we have seen in the for loop, basically we have a loop and this is, let's say, loop. This is my starting point and this is my end point. This is what exactly is a loop, right? So it should start and then it should end. And if in case a condition is met, then it actually ends and it doesn't go back to the start. So this is your end point. That is what is basically a loop, right? So now in case of nested for loop, what happens is, so we have a nested for loop. So we have this particular loop, which is an outside loop, and inside that we have another loop. So what happens, this is my outer loop and this is my inner loop, and this is my start point and end point, right? So what happens is, once the loop starts and it checks a condition and then it goes inside the start loop. Once this particular loop condition finishes, all the elements of the inner loop is actually completed, then it goes back and completes the outer loop. So this is my outer loop. So once again, it actually checks for the inner loop. So if I remove this, again it will check for the inner loop and it will execute all the elements, and then it's going to complete the outer loop and goes back to the outer loop. So that's how exactly the loop is done. So it means a for loop is there in range, let's say 1, 2, 3, and then again there is a loop in range 1, 2. So it's going to do some code and then it comes back and exit out of the loop. So before exit, what it does, it executes the for loop, then it goes to this for loop and this loop continues. This loop continues till it meets the last item, that is this particular 2, and then it goes back to the outer loop and here it actually executes. So that's how exactly the looping condition is met. So let's see that in action. So here we have a start loop. So this is my starting point. In this starting point, it first checks a particular condition. So let's say this is my condition. It checks whether the last item is met. Okay. It first checks that particular condition. If in case it is true, let's say the last item it has met, then it goes and it ends the loop. Let's say the last item it does not meet, then it goes into the false condition, and this is my inner loop. So inside this inner loop, it again checks the condition. If in case the last item is not met, it runs the code and then again it goes back and it checks the last condition. If it's true, then it ends. If not, it goes back. So what exactly happens is, once we are from outer loop to inner loop, which is this one, then it executes all the elements. Okay, it will execute till it meets this particular condition. Once it meets this particular condition, it exits out of the inner loop and goes back to the outer loop here, and then again it checks the condition. If in case the condition is met, then it exits out of the outer loop as well. So that's how exactly the looping condition works. So what it does it in this, for x in 1, 2, 3, for the first element. So let me write down here. For the first element, it will check 1, 2, and 3. Okay. For this, it will first check the first element. Now, for loop 1, it checks whether it has met the last element. No, right? So it will go and it will come to this loop. So what is my condition here? It will execute for 1 and 2 elements. So it will execute for 1 and 2 elements. It will check the last item. Did it reach? No, right? So it will execute this code. Let's say the code here is print x comma y, right? So what it will do is, for the output, for the first iteration, this is iteration number 1. It will print the outer 1. It goes to the inside loop and then it meets 1. It has this 1. Now again, for the iteration 1, it meets this number 2, right? So it prints 2. Now it has met the last element already, right? So it will actually go out of this and come back here and checks for the next element, which is 2. Now my next element for the iteration 2 of the outer element, that is 2, it will check for the inner loop. So in my inner loop, my first element is 1, so it will print 1. Then again it will check for the next element. 2 is there, so it's going to print 2. Now there's no other element after 2, so it's not going to print. So what it will do is, it will come out of this again and it will go back to my outer loop and get my third element here. So this is my last item, but it's not end, right? It again has to go inside this loop. Now for that, the iteration 3, it will have the output 3, and for the first element it is 1. This is my inside loop, and for again it will have 2. So this will be my output. So if you will see, for first iteration there are 2 times the inner loop ran. For second iteration again 2 times the inner loop ran, and for the third item also it ran twice. So for this it ran thrice, and for this it ran twice, right? So that's how exactly it prints this x comma y. So now you may think, what is the use case for this? So there are multiple use cases. Let's go ahead, first execute this particular thing and understand in practical, and then we will come with the real-time use case for this. So what I will do is, I will have my n equal to, or let me just write the loop itself, for I in range 0 to 3. I will run the inner loop for j in range 0 to 2. So what I will do is, I will just go ahead and print inner iteration number, and same I will go ahead and print for outer iteration number. So if I run this particular piece of code, you will be able to see what is the outer iteration and what is the inner iteration. Let me just put some space to it to help you figure it out. So we see here in this code, this is my outer iteration, that is, it starts from 0. As we have learned, in case of range, it will start from 0 and it will exclude this number. So it will run from 0, then 1, and then 2, right? So it will run 0, 1 and 2. It will not run 3 because we have to exclude this. So it will run 3 times this particular loop, and this will run 2 times for 0 and another is for 1, right? So this is my first iteration, which is iteration number 0. Then it goes to this particular loop and it prints both the iteration, that is inner iteration number is 0, again inner iteration number is 1. And for again it comes, because both the range is finished, it goes back to the outer loop. This is my 49 number is my outer loop, and it checks the next element, that is 1, and then it goes to the inner loop. Inside the inner loop it encounters 0, so that is inner number is 0, and then it encounters 1, so the inner iteration number is 1. Then it goes back again to the outer loop and it reaches for number 2, so the outer iteration number is 2, and then again it goes to the inner loop in which it comes with 0, so it has inner iteration number 0. Again it comes with the inner iteration number 1. Now it comes back again and it sees that there is no more range left. So this particular loop, the complete loop actually ends. Now, if you want, you can also go ahead and write here print x, print I comma j. Okay. Now, if you print I comma j, what happens is not here, inside the loop. Let's print it inside this particular loop. Print I comma j. So now you see for first iteration we got the output 0 0, and inside that again 0 1, because it's again inside the outer loop we already have 0, it gives us 1, which is this. Then it goes to the iteration number 1 of outer loop, so it gives you the output 1 1 and 1 0. Again it goes to the outer iteration number 2 and gives you 2 0 and 2 1. So this is how basically the loop works if you have nested for loops. So let's see how we can go ahead and do it in real practical world. So just as a small example, what I will do is I will remove these two print statement, and if you will see there is indentation. Also keep in mind that inside this for loop there is another for loop, so we have indented it, and inside this for loop we have this print statement. So what I will do is I'll just use an f string and I will print my I first, and then I will print my j, and I want to, let's say, sum it up. Okay, sum it up. So my sum will be I plus j. I plus j. Okay, and let me put inside the quotes. So let me run this. So now you see these are my loops. That is for 0 0 it has sum to 0, 0 1 is 1, 1 0 is 1, 1 1 is 2, 2 plus 0 is 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3, right? Now let's say I have a range which is hour. In this hours I have from 0 till 12, and for minutes I have it, let's say, for 0 till let's say for 10 minutes. Okay, these two are my condition now, and I have to get every minute of that particular hour. So what I will do is, instead of for I in the range, I will do for I in the range 0 till 12, and for j in the range 0 till 10. So instead of I, let's put hour in the range, and for minute in the range 0 to 10. So I want to print my hour and I want to print my minute. But how I want is, I don't want it like this. I want it in a way such that I get hour and I get minute, right? So let me execute this. So now you see how exactly it comes. It has 0 and then 0. Again, for all zeros, right, it has ran the inner loop from 0 to 10. If you will see, not 10, but for 9 minutes. It has ran from 0 to 9. Again, for the first hour, It has ran from 1st to 9. So let me just remove this. Let me make it 1. So I want it from 1 and let's make this 11 so that it's easier to understand. Okay, and I'm putting here 0 to t because I want it in a format like 0, 0 and 1, 1. So if you will see here, I have for first hour 0 minute, then first minute, second minute, third minute. For first hour, I have till 10 minutes. Now again for the second hour, it ran for the 10 minutes. Again for 3 hours, it ran for 10 minutes. So if you will see, for each outer loop, it ran the complete inner loop, right? Again for fourth, it ran for all the conditions till 10. And for fifth, it again ran till 10, right? So that's how exactly is the condition that it runs. Now let's take another example in which I have my years. Okay, so let's say I have my years is equal to 2025 and 2026. Okay, and let's say my months is equal to Jan and it is Feb. Now I want for each year, I want the January data, and for each year, I want the February data. Or I can also put here January, February and March for 1 quarter data. So what I can do is for I or for year in years, and again for months in months, print year is year by R and month is M. Okay, so now let me execute this particular code. So let me comment this out because I don't want to run it again. So you see, for 2025 year, month is Jan, Feb and March. And again for year 2026, it's Jan, Feb and March. So that's a use case where you get the years and month. You can actually create a year plus month, or you can also do something like if you want to print, you have year and month. Report name, let's say, is this. So it will give you report name is 2025 Jan, 2025 Feb, 2025 March, 2026 Jan, 2026 Feb and 2026 March. So that's how exactly you loop in to get a desired result. Now, let's say if you have a match between different countries, right? So let's say I have my matches between India, Australia, Sri Lanka, and let's say Pakistan, right? So I have match between these countries. So I want match to be played between India, Australia. India should also play with Sri Lanka and India should also play with Pakistan. Similarly, Australia should play with India, Australia should also play with Sri Lanka and Australia should play with Pakistan. So I need to create a report stating India versus Australia, India versus Sri Lanka, India versus Pakistan. Similarly, Australia versus Sri Lanka, Australia versus Pakistan. So let me go ahead and create a print statement for that. So for match 1 in matches, again for match 2 in matches, print match 1 versus match 2. Okay, so let me comment this particular piece of code as well and run this. So if you will see, India is playing with India. India is playing with Australia. India is playing with Sri Lanka. India is playing with Pakistan. Australia is playing with India. Australia is again playing with Australia. Australia versus Sri Lanka and so on. So this is how you can actually do a one-on-one cross thing here, right? So every player is playing with every other country. So if you want, you can also remove the India versus India by putting a condition. If match 1 is equal to match 2, then don't print, right? So if in case it's not equal, then only you print it. If in case it's equal, don't print it, right? So now you have removed India versus India, right? So that's how exactly a use case again in order to do a for nested loop. Now, let's say if you have a file, right, and you want to select some file, you can also do it in the same manner. So here we go with a challenge for loop for today. Go ahead, try it out by yourself. If you face any difficulty, put it in the comment section. I will help you out in solving that question. So we have this particular pattern that we actually need to print. So this is my pattern that I really need to print. Okay, so let me put the comment so that you understand. So this is what you need to print. Okay, now think about it, how exactly you can print this particular pattern. If you are able to solve this question, you have understood the nested for loop very well, right? If you are not able to maybe solve it in a first go, try to see the solution or put it in the comments so that I can help you exactly how to solve this question, and then you can proceed with more advanced version of the for loop. So in the next topic, we will be covering some more advanced version of the for loop, which is the break, continue, and pass statements in the for loop, which is also very important. So if you like this video, do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends.
Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.